Lesson 3, Leads. In this lesson we'll be covering what is a lead, creating and editing leads, and converting leads. Leads. The leads object is used to record details of prospective clients, people who are thinking about applying for loans, for example. The idea is to record these prospects in a separate section to clients because you'll probably have less information about them and also want to manage them in a different way. Creating leads. To create leads in Salesforce, we can go to the Leads tab and then click on the New button. This will open up a window that allows us to record some basic information about the lead, such as name and contact details. First, let's start by recording a salutation and first name for our lead. Next, when we come to the last name field, we'll notice that this field is marked with a red bar. This indicates that it is a required field and you will not be able to save this record without putting a value into the required field. We also have preferred and middle name options. And then we have some company information fields. These fields should only be filled out when you are recording a company as a lead and not to record simply a workplace of your lead. Entering details into the company field will affect what happens to the lead when we come to convert it later on. In this case, let's record an individual lead and leave the company field blank. If we scroll down, we can select an employment status. And at the top right hand side, we can record lead source and referrer information. In the lead source field, let's select real estate agent. We could then provide additional information about that lead source in the box below, or in the referrer field we can link through to the real estate agent that referred the lead to us. We do this using what's called a lookup field, and this is represented with the magnifying glass icon. If we click on the lookup icon, it opens up a lookup window. It gives us a list of recently viewed records for the lookup, which is an account lookup, so recently viewed accounts, or we can search for an account by name. In this case, we want to link it to Australian real estate. Next, we can record the lead status. You will note that this is also a required field as marked by the red bar. The lead status helps us to manage the lead by recording what is currently happening with the lead. For example, if the lead is new and we have not yet attempted to contact them, we would leave it as a status of new inquiry. If we were in contact or attempting to contact the lead, we would use the value of contact attempted or contacted ongoing. And once we've decided if the lead will be progressing or not, we would use the values of qualified and qualified out. The qualified value means that the lead is 1. It means that the lead will be becoming a client and we will convert it into an account. The qualified out status means that the lead is lost, that the lead will not be progressing into a client, we will not be converting them into an account. If we selected a qualified out status, this would be in the case, for example, that an application was declined, or that the client changed their mind about the lead changed their mind about applying for a loan. And then you can record the reasons why the lead was lost using this reason lost selection list or entering comments into this area here. In this example, let's say that we are in contact with the lead. In the next section, we can enter some contact information, such as a phone number and an email address. And over on the right hand side, we can record the marital status and enter a date of birth. Then let's enter an address. And in the next area we can record the product details for the lead. So what product is the lead interested in? And that's assuming that you know this information. If not, we can come back and add that later. You'll notice when we select a category, product category for the lead, that will affect what options we have in the product subcategory. So for an investment loan, we have options of the different investment loans. For home loan, we have options of the different home loans. So let's select one of these. And in the description area, we can write any additional comments or information about the lead that we want to record. This little optional area at the bottom is relevant for multi-user orgs who have assignment rules. And that means when leads come into the system, do you want to set up some rules that decide which leads will go to which user? So for example, if you're a national company and you have sales reps in each state, you may want to assign leads based on each state to different users. So if a lead comes in who lives in Victoria, you would send it to the Victorian sales manager. That's what assignment rules are about, and it's probably not something that any of the ANZ mobile lenders will be using, but if you do, that's what it's there for. But now that we've completed all of the details for our lead, let's click on the Save button. Once we save our lead, we now come to what we call the detail page. So it's just a records page. We refer to it as the detail page. From here, we can edit, delete, convert, clone, or find duplicates for the lead using these buttons. So if we want to edit the lead, we can click here. We can change information or update information. So let's enter an additional phone number for this lead. When we do that, we need to hit the Save button to save those changes. Another way we can edit records is to double click on fields. So you can see here when I hover over this preferred name field, the field goes blue and there's a pencil icon that appears. That means that we can double click and edit this field. It's an editable field. When we enter that value in, we have a little undo button appear. So that's if you've typed over an existing value and you've forgotten what it was and want to recover it, you can hit the undo button to recover it. Or we can go in and make some additional changes or save the record with that one change. Notice that the changes we make show in orange so that we know we've changed that, but we haven't yet saved it. So let's save that change. Of course, deleting the record simply means that we're going to get rid of that record. We might have a duplicate, we might have entered it by mistake. We can delete it and it will go into the recycle bin. Converting we'll talk about in a moment, but the clone option, let's click this now and have a go at cloning a lead. Basically, it means making a copy of this lead, but allowing us to change some details first. So for example, if we have a husband and wife, they'll have some of the similar details and we don't want to have to re-enter all of that. So let's just change the first name here to Daniel. And so we've got Tasha and Daniel Mitchell. We'll get rid of the preferred name, and Daniel's middle name might be Andrew. And in this case, we might want to associate him to a company. We might want to say that this lead is for the company, and as part of that lead, Tasha also wants to do a separate application, so she's her own lead. But let's put in here company name of Mitchell Engineering and an ABN. Down here we might just change that the start of the email address is Daniel. His date of birth will be different. We might not know his date of birth. Let's leave that one blank. And his number here might be 444. This will be the same. And the product category in this case is going to be an investment loan in the name of a company. So you can see we haven't had to add all of the information because we've copied some of that from Tasha's account. That's what cloning is. It's copying and allowing you to make some changes to it before saving. Converting leads. Once we have determined that a lead will be progressing into a client, we can move the record from the lead object to the account object by converting the lead. To do this, we simply go to a leads detail page and then we click the convert button. This opens up the lead conversion page where we can control what will happen with the lead when we convert it. At the top we can choose to change the record owner and to email the record owner to let them know the lead has been converted. In the next section we can see what the account name will be when the lead gets converted. In this case we can see that the lead for Tasha Mitchell is going to be converted into an account for Tasha Mitchell. When we convert companies, you'll see that the account will get created for the company. In the next section, we can choose to give a name to the application that also gets created as part of the conversion. So let's just type in here, home loan application. If we don't want to create an application as part of the conversion, we can tick this box here. And the converted status will default to qualified. So it's saying when we convert a lead, we've decided that that lead has been qualified, so it's going to update the lead record to that status. We can then decide whether or not we want to add a task. If we want to add a task as part of the lead conversion, then we need to complete all of these fields with the red marks. If we don't want to record a task, we can leave all of these fields blank. So for example, we may want to record ourselves a follow-up task to follow up this application. So in that case, we would enter a subject of follow-up application and a due date. Let's just make it, let's say tomorrow, and then we can put some additional comments in here if we like. We can then give the task a status, a priority, send an email alert to the task owner, and set it a reminder as well. Let's hit the convert button to finish the conversion of this lead. We can see here that we now have a person account for Tasha. So we're sitting on the person account for Tasha. All of her details that we had recorded on the lead have copied across. So we've got marital status, date of birth, contact information, address. All of these details have come across, meaning we don't need to re-enter them. Also, an application record has been created, and that's not going to have much information. We're going to have to update that after, but if we click through, we can see it's just got the name, it's just at the first stage of pending, and it's pulled across the product details, but we'll have to enter in further information such as application number, guarantor, amount, as we have that information. If we click back to the account for Tasha, we can see down the bottom we've also got our follow-up task recorded in the open activities related list. So from converting that one lead, we've been able to create 3 records without entering in any additional information. Now if we go back and click on the lead record for Tasha, which is in our recent items, or even just hover over it, we can see that we can't access that lead anymore because it's been converted. Let's talk about how converting a lead for a company differs to converting a lead for an individual. This lead is for Mitchell Engineering and Daniel Mitchell is the contact. If we click the convert button, we can see the account name, so the account that's going to get created as part of this conversion is for Mitchell Engineering. That's for the company. Let's go through and convert this lead without adding a task. Let's just put in an application. And click on the convert button. We can see what's happened is we've got a business account created for Mitchell Engineering. So that's different to the person account that got created for Tasha Mitchell before. So in this case, we've used the company name and ABN, as well as some of these contact details have come through. And Daniel, whose details we also had on the lead, has been created as a contact for the company. So he's a contact against that business record. And if we click onto his name, we'll be able to see his contact record that has all of the information we put in for him. We just scroll back. We can then also look at the application that gets created, and that gets created the same way as the application for a person account. So we'll still need to come back and enter in additional information such as account number and amount, but it's just the accounts that get created are different for individuals and for companies. So that's why it's important when we're creating our lead records to know if we want to have a company or an individual, and for that to affect whether we record anything in this company field.